Fora TV. The world is thinking.
I said before Obama there were 3 indictments. Obama has brought 5 in these 2 years. If he brought it against Assange, if they did 6, it would be twice as many as all previous presidents put together. And what's going on here? Well, it's part of a policy of generally use of state secrets privilege, use of against dismissing lawsuits, being totally secretive, not being at all forthcoming on freedom of information in terms of these areas. So it's part of a policy. But why more than others? I'd be interested to hear anybody's suggestion. In fact, I think you were asking me that the other night, Peter. Why is it that Obama is pressing this so strongly? This is before WikiLeaks, remember, except for Bradley. The previous 4 were before WikiLeaks, and 2 of them were for acts undertaken under Bush, which Bush had not indicted. Thomas Drake and Shammai Leibowitz, who's in prison now. So in other words, this "we're not looking back" applies to the myriad crimes of the Bush administration: torture, aggressive war, warrantless wiretapping, crimes that actually strike at the heart of our Constitution as well as our domestic law. No looking back on those. The only looking back is on whistleblowers. Drake and Leibowitz revealing what they thought were great wasteful practices. So there is a war on whistleblowing. To me, and again, why Obama so much, I have a hypothesis. This is just very speculative. I think he feels more vulnerable to whistleblowers than either his predecessor, because he's doing many of the same things. One of the great secrets in the cable's release is how little difference there is from 2008 to 2009. They're the same practices, the same torture, not that much difference. But Bush was proud of it. He did it secretly at first. It was all covert at first. But when it came out, torture? We don't torture, but what we do, we do. And I don't apologize for it. NSA warrantless wiretapping? No problem, need it. I think Obama's a little more embarrassed about all that coming out, that he's acting in the same lines, that he has a new war that he's escalating, added to Bush's war in Afghanistan. And he really wants to do what other presidents have always wanted to do: shut down leaks that they don't control, the leaks they don't make. But I think he's really doing it more aggressively than any previous president, and specifically, he's doing it by treating the act that I was charged under as an official secrets act, as an act that criminalizes all leaks. And if he gets a conviction of any of these people, not just Manning or Assange, if he gets Drake or Kim, if they go up to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court takes it and doesn't notice that it is unconstitutional, which is not a bad bet. Earlier courts would almost surely have called it unconstitutional. This one might not. And if he gets that, he has a very broad Official Secrets Act, and from then on, all he has to do to find out who is the source of any leak, one day to the next, with a clear-cut crime, is to call in the reporter whose byline is on the head of that column and say, "We're not charging you with anything. We're not against the press. We're for the press. Just who committed the crime?" And if the person can't take the Fifth Amendment, he or she is not being charged with anything, they just either tell or they go to jail indefinitely for contempt. Judith Miller lasted 85 days. And some of them will last longer, but a lot of them won't. And from then on, no source will have any basis for assuming or hoping that their name for this whistleblowing will be anonymous. Their only recourse will be WikiLeaks, so WikiLeaks matters.